Assassin's Creed Odyssey now basically has an unlimited amount of quests thanks to the new Story Creator mode that lets every player make missions for the game via a dedicated Story Creator tool on the Assassin's Creed website. In this video I want to dive deeper into this feature, how it works, how you can easily access the new missions, but also go over the things I learned from my trip to Ubisoft Quebec, where I got to toy around with the feature before it was revealed. So let's get into it. Would be awesome if you could leave a like on the video as it shows your support, and let's go. The Story Creator tool can let you do things that were never possible in Odyssey, like fight your mom, dad, Marcos, Nicholas, Socrates and the Cyclops all at the same time. This was from the quest that I made at Ubisoft to showcase some of the crazy stuff that is possible. And there are way more characters that you can choose from and put in your quest if you want. So you can make them your ally or your enemy, fight with or also talk with them and write dialogue yourself. There are a ton of possibilities, and there's also the choice system that is fully integrated. In my E3 quest I made people choose between their mom or their dad. So then you would go to completely different locations depending on what you chose. And just like in the main game, these choices can have a major impact on the outcome of the story if you as the creator are willing to spend the necessary time to make the story you want. I'm mostly impressed by the technology behind this all and how easy it is to, for example, test the story you are working on in the browser and just hit the test story button and then it appears in the My Story section of the main menu in Odyssey. Here you can then test your creation with a pre-made level 50 character, either Cassandra or Alexios, and also give yourself special developer style perks like being immune to damage, invisible, and that the enemies die extremely fast after you hit them, so you can easily get through your own made quest. I would love to be able to test my stories with my own character and have access to the new Atlantis abilities, for example, so that if you are making a more combat focused challenge, that you can really test if it's challenging for a fully upgraded character as well. No word on if this will come, but they are introducing something that can let you create some more unique encounters. More on that a little later in this video. So let's say you are now testing your quest and something is not really working. Well, then you can just edit it in the Story Creator tool on the browser, then go back to the My Stories menu in the game, and then immediately try your improvements without having to restart Odyssey or anything like that. It's seamless, it's cross-platform, like it does not matter if you are playing on Xbox One, PS4 or PC. You just need to be logged in with the same Ubisoft Club account on the browser and in the game, and the rest is really taken care of. And the same can be said for playing Story Creator quests. Just go to the Story Creator website that you can access via the official Assassin's Creed website, but I will also put a link in the description of this video so you can easily go there. And then, for example, click on the Discover tab that has the weekly Hall of Fame with some of the best stories, and then select one that looks interesting, and then you want to add it to the story menu, so you will see it in the game as well. Of course, you have to activate the Story Creator mode in the settings, so you are able to see the missions in the game, and you obviously need an internet connection to make it all happen. And then you go to the Quest tab and then see the Stories button on the right corner of the screen. Click that to see all the stories you have added, but you also see suggested stories here that have high ratings, so that people recommend. You have 20 stories in this menu, and the game will autofill you to 20 if you don't have the 20 selected from the website. And now, like any other quest, you select what you are interested in, go to the icon on the map, and you can start the mission. One of the big things that you will notice, or likely already noticed, is that there is obviously no voice acting, with the characters also not moving their lips around. The developers did test this, but it did not really work, and no, a Google Translate voice also kills the mood of the story. And if they of course opened the possibility for people to voice over their own stories, then crazy things would happen, and we all know it. And sure, it looks weird to see the characters just standing there, but I gotta say, you get used to it and then just read the text as it's supposed to. It's more like a book in that way. You can change the expressions and the body movement of the characters as a story creator though, so that way you still have kind of an impact on the way the story is presented. But apart from that, the missions can and will feel like regular Odyssey quests, because almost all the objectives are there, like kill a certain amount amount of people, talk to this person, reach that location, or save someone from a cage. And then you have to pick a cage in the world to put someone in, and can then have the player in the mission go to this location that is likely heavily guarded, in this instance by the cultist. So then you immediately create a combat encounter without having to manually put the NPCs in the world. So totally play with the things in the world like the camps or the animal dens, and then use them for your quest. And it's very nice that in the Story Creator Mode website you see the icons on the world map that show where these locations are, so you can plan accordingly. This was not the case in the test version that was available to a selected group of people before the launch, so they have added this later, and the support so far has been pretty great. Interesting is that you don't have to download anything to get the latest Story Creator Mode features. They can add it remotely after a 30-minute maintenance, and so far we already got some pretty nice additions, like being able to select photos so people get an idea of what your quest is about, an easy test story button in the Story Creator tool. The Hall of Fame was added recently, so you can easily find some highlighted stories, just like an improved search engine that will of course help with that as well. But they also seem to be working on some extra additions to give us more ways to edit the experience. Because since it's possible to put characters in the world and change the archetypes based on the enemies that we find in the main game, you could create a ton of unique combat encounters. Like here I put a ton of pirate enemies in the open theater area. They are instantly killing civilians around them because they are pirates and that's what they do. And pro tip, if you want the enemies working together, then make them of the same faction. If I had made them Athenian and Spartan enemies, then they would fight each other, even if you as the player had the objective to kill them all. So a new feature briefly showed up in the recent update, and that's the elite option. So every archetype that can become an elite in the main game can also be made an elite in the Story Creator Mode. So then they get the yellow line around their level, and then they will be more powerful in terms of health, and I think in terms of damage as well. Like the captains in a camp are elite, for example. So while normally you will only be fighting a few of them at the same time, because in a camp there can only be a few captains, here you can make a whole battlefield of these elite enemies and create insane challenges. The sad part is though that when this feature was added with the previous update, it was not working. Like, it appeared for a short period of time, I tried it and then I had this issue. So now it also is gone. So they're likely still working on it. But if they maybe add it later, it would of course create a ton of new unique things that were not possible before. Like, we can really create insane encounters to test the builds that we've been working on. While it could be really hard to find a challenge in the main game right now. So hopefully this feature that is still noted in the patch notes of the most recent updates will make its return soon. And I'm curious to see what they will add in the future. I totally expect more NPCs than we have right now. Demos is requested a lot. Would be cool to have him in the game, or her obviously. And other bosses or special enemies that we encountered in the game. We should not expect mythical creatures, sadly, as that simply would not work, the developers told me. It does make sense if you think about the fact that we could only fight them in dedicated arenas. I really hope they add the DLC enemies to the creator mode. Like, the reason that they're not in right now is that they want every quest to be available to every person, so also people that don't have the season pass. But it's such a shame, because they would add way more variety to the encounters in the quest that we can make. And Ubisoft has done it before with the Far Cry Arcade. They also released all the assets to everyone, so even if you did not own the season pass, you could still toy around with these assets or play levels that included the zombies or the Mars content. It would also be awesome if we had a sort of horde mode where we could have waves of enemies to a same location that we had to defend. Just more sort of game modes, just more combat focused things. Because while the stories are great, I think most of you, including me, are playing this game mostly for the combat and for the RPG elements and to enhance our builds. So to be able to create insane challenges to test our builds would be really cool. And then also have a sort of leaderboard system, or that you just see how long it took you to complete this trial, so you can kind of battle with other players and say, I was faster than you. I know it's the story creator tool, but I think it would actually be cool to have more features focused on the gameplay part of it, because there is so much room to create unique experience if we just get some more tools to work with. I will be following the updates for this mode obviously, and will be playing some of the best stories as well. I want to highlight them here on the channel. If you are up for it, of course let me know in the comments down below. I'm working on some interesting things myself as well, and I hope to release them later for you to try out. So don't subscribe to stay up to date on that and everything Odyssey, of course, like news about the new Atlantis content that should drop any moment. Like this video to support channel. Check out my previous video on a quest that Ubisoft added to the game and some items that you totally want to get. And I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.